We turn now to South Asia, and the Balochistan Liberation Army has claimed responsibility for a massive coordinated offensive across Pakistan's Baluchistan province, allegedly killing more than 200 security personnel over a period of nearly 40 hours. The group said the attacks, called Operation Heroth Phase 2, targeted multiple districts and marked the first large-scale use of female suicide bombers. Pakistani authorities confirmed heavy fighting and said security forces killed at least 145 militants. Officials also reported civilian casualties after attackers disguised as civilians entered public places and used human shields. The violence highlights a sharp escalation in the long-running insurgency in Balochistan. Professor Veselin Popovsky joins us now, a professor and vice dean at Jindal Global Law School, joining us live from Thailand. Thank you very much, Professor Popovsky, for joining us. This was a significant operation. 145 what Pakistan calling militants, terrorists, dead over the span of 40 hours. What does this signify about the stability of the Balochistan region? Of course, a hub of insurgency and instability for decades now.
Oh yes, definitely for decades. It's a very long conflict. I think there are 4 rounds of escalation, and since 2006, already 20 years ago, we have the 4th round of escalation. It's long, and there is not really much of a hope it will end soon, because of both sides giving absolutely no indication stopping doing that. On one side, the attacks on Pakistani forces by Balochistan Liberation Army, and on the other hand, the response to that by the official Pakistani army against what they call the terrorists of Balochistan. And yes, it's one of the longest conflicts in Pakistan, with no clear signals for any resolution. There is no dialogue whatsoever. It basically, both sides prefer to do the military options and not to negotiate any compromise. So we will see probably more of this over the next years, I'm afraid.
As you've said, there seems to be not much effort to get this instability sorted. In Pakistan's largest province by area, it's also its poorest, with chronic underdevelopment, despite major gas, coal, copper and gold reserves. And what does it say about the current way that this conflict is moving forward, that insurgency continues to operate in Balochistan, and that there seems to be no or not much interest from external actors to settle this dispute?
True, you're absolutely right, Thomas. There is not much interest internationally in fact to speak about this. There is no political interest in any other parts of the world in Balochistan. Left on its own, yes, the conflict has very little, as I mentioned, very little chances to have any progress very soon. You are right, it's one of the poorest parts of Pakistan, but with potentially possible reserves in resources and minerals. And for that matter, maybe that also explains the causes of conflict. Very often the causes of conflicts lie in some such opportunities to exploit mineral resources by insurgencies, and they would like to take control of those regions. Again, they can pretend some other reasons, some revenge, some frustrations from the past, some willingness to establish independent state. But obviously behind all of this are the resources, but also the violent methods that the Balochistan Liberation Army uses give even less sympathy. So in a way, nobody sympathizes with attempts to secessions. Moreover, when the violent means by killing people and sometimes very many civilians also doesn't really give a rise for sympathy, for international support, for international sympathy to independence of Balochistan. And we also know that the Pakistani state is absolutely cruel, and that they will also not consider any steps back, that they will continue to respond with strikes, with killing fighters. That's also the approach that Pakistan takes. So sadly to say, not much to expect here. It will be a prolonged, although not always we see that. So that's why we have several times, as I said, over the last decade, an escalation. But at the end of the day, yes, no prospect at the moment.
Professor Popovsky, finally, of course, the escalation comes with accusations of Pakistan claiming that India is financing certain proxy groups, and especially these Baloch insurgents inside Balochistan. A claim India denies, while Indian officials accuse Pakistan of using similar proxies against India. Where's the base in these accusations?
Again, that's not verified. These are accusations. There is no proof. There is no evidence. Unfortunately, it goes on for long. And as you mentioned, India also sometimes immediately raises those accusations every time there is a terrorist act in India. The first reaction is that Pakistan state, it could be Pakistan insurgent or terrorist, someone from Pakistan, but the question really is whether the state is involved. And for that matter, we don't know. We have no evidence to say that Indian state is involved in any sort of enough evidence to say that the Pakistani state, the state of Pakistan, is supporting some terrorist act in India. Yes, the relationship between India and Pakistan, notoriously for many decades, is kind of a ground for such mutual accusations that, again, do not bring to any solution. And it's better to have some restraint, some self-disciplines in those announcements. But again, both sides have a lot of nationalism, a lot of populism, and that kind of builds up mutual hatred, and often unverified accusations continue.
Professor Veselin Popovsky, thank you very much for taking the time in joining us. Great pleasure to talk to you, as always. We now move on and over to the Pacific, and Philippine Vice President Sara Duterte is facing a new round of